Great. Thanks, everybody, for being here this evening. I'm so glad that you are able to attend and just hear some encouraging stories of people who have had some great success on our program and just been able to create long-term sustainable health in their lives. So the reason we're doing this is just to help people and encourage them who might have a long journey ahead of them or are in the middle of a long journey. So I understand what that is like. For me, I lost a total of 170 pounds, not all with our health program, but I understand what that is and how overwhelming that can be. And so we just wanted to have an opportunity for some people to share and give encouragement and hear the real deal, the good and the bad and how things are going and what life is like now. So just for encouragement for those of you who might be looking at what may feel like a long journey, just to have some encouragement with that. So the first person that I want to bring on is Nikki Green. And Nikki, if you can unmute your phone, that would be fantastic. Oh, and let's see if I can unmute it for you.
I got it.
Oh, perfect. Good. So Nikki, this is your before and now picture. How does that make you feel?
It's like a totally different person.
It is. It is. We are just so thrilled for you and the things that you've been able to accomplish in your life. And so we were able to talk earlier in the week and just share with us just a little bit about your journey. Where you were when you started, some things that happened along the way, and where you are now.
When I started, I was 249 pounds, and currently I'm sitting at 142. So
yes, that's awesome. That's a big yay right there.
I got about 5 to 7 more pounds to go before I hit my target weight. So I'm almost there.
Now, you started back in March of 2015, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us some of the things that you've really loved and enjoyed, and tell us some of the things that you maybe even struggled with a little bit.
I just like the whole part of, relearning how to do everything correctly, because it wasn't like I was eating all the wrong foods. It was just how I was eating. I wasn't a real breakfast eater, so I didn't really hardly eat breakfast, but, getting up in the morning, getting what I need done so I can eat something to start my day. That was something hard that I had to learn to do and just kind of get going. But just learning, to eat the right food, eat it in the right portion. I enjoyed learning how to do all that. It's working for me. I did hit a couple plateaus, before I got this far,
So tell us about that first plateau, the time that you hit that first plateau. You had been there for a while, right? A couple of weeks before you reached out to Charlene, your health coach.
Yeah, it was a few weeks before I reached out to Charlene. It was like, okay, third week, I'm going to give it a couple weeks. Let's see what I do, see if I can change anything. By the third week, I hadn't done anything. I didn't gain anything, but I didn't lose anything. I'm thinking, okay, time for Charlene. Let's see what she can tell me. So she sent me some good information on how to get over a plateau. And so I did that. I started that. And for the next couple weeks, I lost something. And then it was like, okay, we're on the right path now. So, okay, this is good. But then by that third week, after, I had overcome on that first one, I hit another one. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is like frustrating.
Yeah, it can definitely take the wind out of your sails, can't it?
It can. It can. I just had to be positive. It's like, hit a plateau. This is where I'm staying at. I'm not gaining anything, so that's always good. So you just kind of have to say, okay, you didn't gain anything, so you're in good shape until you can figure things out. So my second plateau come maybe a few weeks later, and then of course I got a hold of Charlene as soon as it happened because I knew it was going to be, and she started nitpicking everything I did. I was like, okay. She's like, you need to go back to basics. You need to start measuring your vegetables out again. You need to start measuring your meat out. Take anything extra, including the snacks like the popcorn and the little Rice Crisp snacks.
Snacks.
She's like, cut all of that out. She's like, go back to basics. Go back to the very beginning and try that. Ever since then, I've lost at least 1 pound.
Good for you. And sometimes I think that is so key, and I love that you realized that, because I think as the longer we're on our journey using the 5-in-1, the more we tend to maybe just throw a little bit of this or a little bit of that, and before we know it, we are way off track with kind of what the structure of the 5-in-1 is. Not saying you were way off track, but it's easy to throw things in and kind of accidentally even throw yourself out of fat burn. And I love that you were just able to dig deep and find out some of these things, go back to basics, and then your body just started rolling with it again. So, and now you're so close to reaching your goal, and I love it. I love it. That's got to feel fantastic.
Oh, it's terrific. People that I haven't seen in a while, they look at me, it's like, oh my God. It's like, you've lost so much weight. You look good. It's like, oh, well, thank you.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight and just giving us a little bit of that insight. And we really do appreciate it. And we are so super excited for you. So that's fantastic. I can't wait to celebrate you when you hit that goal. So awesome.
Well, thank you, and I enjoy sharing.
Oh, thank you. So the next person we are going to bring on is Richard Johnson. And Richard and I had a great time talking yesterday, and he has just done a phenomenal job of creating health in his life. And some of the things that he has done, there we go, are just really some great fundamentals. But Richard, tell a little bit about your story. Share with how much weight you've lost and just where you were and where you are now and what you're so excited about.
Sure. I think Dawn and I could both fit into that shirt I was wearing.
Yes.
And of course, I'm holding a plate of food.
Yes.
And I still have the same watch, though. I had to get the watch band taken in a bit.
That is so funny.
I just thought of that. It was really weird. Yeah, I've lost about 80 pounds, and I'm feeling really good. I'm thinking maybe 5 or 10 more, but I'm not really sweating the details on it. Back a year ago, January, I have type 2 diabetes. I was diagnosed back in 98 or 99, and I was on the maximum amount of oral medication you can take, and it still wasn't under control. Because I was defeating the purpose, eating just about anything I wanted, whenever I wanted, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And Dawn will tell you that she had a secret meeting with our 2 adult children to tell them that she was planning to be a widow soon. That's how bad it was. I just couldn't see it. And then a year ago, January, every 3 months I went to see my doctor, and she read me the Riot Act. They had done some tests and said that my kidneys were failing and I'd be on dialysis soon if I didn't lose at least 70 pounds and do it now. So that was my wake-up call. So Dawn was already on the program, and it was really great. She told me later she had watched Andrea keep the weight off, and that's what persuaded her that this was the way to go. Because that's really a key to it, I think. I've lost the same 60 pounds several times in my lifetime, and keep putting it back, and plus a little extra just as punishment for doing it, I suppose. So my son and I looked at each other, and basically we said, I'll do it if you'll do it. So we decided to do it. And Jimmy's lost, I forget, at least 100 pounds, maybe as much as 130. Our daughter Susanna joined us, and she's lost about 100 pounds too, I think. So we've lost at least one whole family here between the four of us.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and the good news is that your meds are
Non-existent.
non-existent.
The next step is insulin, and I'm off all the diabetes medication since, I'd say May. So it's been about a year. My blood pressure is almost normal. I'm down to one medication there, and my doctor thinks I can get off that if I can lose another 5 or 10 pounds. That ought to do it, she thinks.
That is.
So yeah, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm 64 years old, but I feel like a 30-year-old in a lot of ways. And of course, Don is always teasing me. He says I'm 19 going on 64. I have to remind myself I'm not 30 anymore. But we had some friends over. We were moving drywall from the garage downstairs, and they're two young guys, and I outworked both of them. They had to keep stopping for breaks. I'm saying, what is wrong with you people? Let's go. Let's get the stuff in. So it really felt great. But that was it. The weight came off fairly quickly. Within 2 or 3 months, my kidneys were functioning normally again. So that happened very fast.
That's great. And the one thing that I love that you said while we were talking the other day was like, there is no going back. There's no going back.
Yeah, that's what Dawn and I have said to each other more than once. There's just no going back. We're just enjoying our lives so much without the weight. Back in October, we took the trip of a lifetime. We went on one of those Viking River cruises to Europe. We had 2 nights in Paris, 7 nights on the Moselle and Rhine rivers, and 2 nights in Prague. We walked everywhere. We did stuff we would never have been able to do before, and we had the energy to do it, and we just had a ball, and it was great. I don't remember. We must have walked 7 or 8 miles in Prague our last year.
Having the energy to enjoy something like that is fantastic. And one of the things that I love also that you talked about, there were 3 things that you said you just really felt encouraged about. And you said that you have right now that you have self-discipline, you have the tools and encouragement to be healthy long term. Can you speak to that just for a second?
Yeah, I'm involved in addiction recovery as part of what my wife and I do in prison ministry, and there's an element to this. It can be an addiction, and certainly I've been there and done that. In fact, one of my attempts was Overeaters Anonymous back in the 80s, and that didn't work for very long. And it was weird. I was the only man there. That was really weird too. But I just take the weight off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on, and just, after a while you just get discouraged, and I think I gave up. But having the self-discipline, with the success,
yes,
and being able to keep it off. This time it just felt different. I've seen people do other weight loss things, and they don't look very healthy to me. They look kind of like, they look like they're deprived, and they'd probably eat an oak tree if they could, But that was beautiful, not being hungry. And when I did, being able to look at it and say, okay, why do I feel like eating something? And there's something going on in my heart that needs to looked at, and often it, comfort eating and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So having self-discipline and having the tools to apply the self-discipline has been very important.
And that is so key, Richard, what you just hit on the head. It is exactly what's in lesson 3 in the workbook about stop, challenge, choose. And, just being able to recognize what's going on, why is it going on. And so, self-discipline is something that can happen when you do have the tools. And you have done a phenomenal job of giving yourself the encouragement. You have surrounded yourself in our microenvironment of health. You now have this community around you that is health-centered, and it starts with your family, your whole entire family. That focus has changed. And so I just love to hear how you have just taken all those steps and just totally rearranged your life. And now, one thing that you said, I've got the body that I should have had all along.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My mind is clear. It's not cloudy anymore. My thinking is cleared up, and having all this energy. I went for a 2-mile walk today down to the Ingles store and back. I bought cheese and a diet root beer.
I love it. Well, Richard, thank you for sharing with us tonight and encouraging some folks and just sharing your journey. I really do appreciate it.
And I appreciate this opportunity. And I can look at my wife on Zoom too. Hey,
yes,
sweetie.
you can. Oh, I love it.
We're only 1,000 miles away, but we're going to change that soon.
That's right. That's right. The next person we're going to have share, and just to kind of wrap up this evening, is Charlene Lefevre. And I am just so, so grateful for her and her story. It's really amazing what this woman has been able to do in her life. Is just really fantastic. And so, Charlene, can you unmute yourself? There you go. There you go. So tell us a little bit about this picture and how you were feeling back then.
Yeah, that was like the only picture I could find that had me in it more than just my head. So when we went to try to do a before and after picture, I just had to hunt. I didn't even have it posted anywhere. It was on my computer somewhere. Because I just avoided pictures, and I had this beautiful family that I was trying to enjoy, but I didn't feel like I could.
I love, man. And just to see what you have. So tell us, you have lost about 115 pounds. Is that right? And you've kept it off for over a year now. Oh,
can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. And so being able to keep it off for over a year is fantastic. So I would love for you to tell me a little bit about your journey. Let's see, it took you how long? It took you about 10 months to lose 115 pounds. So for some people that might feel extremely overwhelming. For others, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so quick. So during that journey of 10 months on plan, tell me a little bit about your mindset. And did you ever feel like it was too overwhelming for you?
Yeah, well, and I didn't set out to lose 115 pounds. So I was just miserable. And I called my coach one day from a women's event and said, I'm just going to do whatever you did, because I had watched her and her husband lose weight and they had kept it off and they were real people. And I knew that whatever they did wasn't weird. And so my husband had been encouraging me, whenever I was ready, and so cost had always been my fear, was that it was going to cost too much. And I didn't want to take away from my family. And so when I called her up and we just decided to do it, it was really surprising to us after the first month that I must have just been ready. And then we realized it didn't cost our family any more money. And I was far more involved in our family life already after just a few weeks, because it was so much better. I felt hope for the first time in a really long time, because I kept losing like 20 pounds and then I couldn't lose anymore. And no matter what I did. And then every time I would try to calculate, well, how long is it going to take me to even get to a remotely unshameful weight, and it would be like a year and a half at the rate that I was going, and that was always discouraging. So when I lost 20 pounds in like 3 weeks, well, not even 3 weeks, like 2.5 weeks, that had already started to really show me that my life could be different. So, and I certainly didn't pick probably the easiest 10 months to do that. 2 family weddings, a big family anniversary, a trip to Dubai, all these things going on. So, as I was like charting, because I'm an accountant, my projected weight loss, I was like earmarking when these things were going to be coming up on our calendar. But then I was able to quickly start dreaming about what I was going to be able to wear at those things.
Wow.
The family events and stuff, those can be really tricky to navigate the discussions of what I'm eating, why I'm not eating something. So that posed to start being, a question I had to answer for myself. And, it was really great to be able to go on those trips and get to enjoy the people and how I felt and find that I could stay on 5 and 1 the whole time I was there and still have lost weight when I got home. I didn't have to feel like I had to take a break from that. Like I remember going to I think it was a wedding dinner, and I took a cappuccino with me, just assuming it would be no problem for this restaurant to like get me some hot water to make a cappuccino. And we got there and found out they didn't have a microwave. So the owner quickly came over to me and said, "But could we whisk it in a pan for you?" So they boiled water and whisked it for me. Fancy coffee drink.
Oh my gosh, I love it. There are so many things that you just touched on that I don't want to gloss over, and I want to make sure people hear it. What I love is that whenever you started to think about a trip, a family event, going to Dubai, any of those things, while you were in your weight loss journey on the 5 and 1, there might have been times when it started to panic you or felt overwhelming, but you made the decision to shift your focus off of the restrictions that you could potentially have to how am I going to feel? What am I going to be able to wear? What size will I be? You changed it to something positive. And I think that is the root of so many things. And that's why our education component is so phenomenal, is because it deals with that whole mindset. And for you to be able to do that, that is so key, especially when you have such feel like you have a long way to go to reach your goal. Making that decision to focus on the things that you can do and not the things that you can't. And that probably is one of the things that allowed you to move so quickly to your health goal. Would you agree?
Definitely. I'm sure that helped me stay on course and see the hope.
So did you ever think about, I love it when clients always tell me, "Oh, I cheated." So, tell me what you think about that.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny, and I probably can really not take much credit for the mind shift because I'm pretty sure I caught it along the way from my coach and other coaches, because it was a choice. I had choices to make along the way, and I chose what I chose to do. And I have a client of mine that one day I looked at my phone and I got a text that said, "I cheated." And she's a friend of mine. So I chose to respond to her and ask her if she meant that she cheated on her boyfriend, which she quickly responded and told me, "Absolutely not." And then I reminded her that clearly we wouldn't be talking about food because that's not the relationship we have with food anymore. And she just giggled, and it allowed us to start a new conversation for her about, what was going on. She had made a choice. And I mean, it's really been great to see her be able to see that in her life and realize that it's just choices we're making. And sometimes we with them later and sometimes we don't, but that allows us a new opportunity to choose something different.
I love that. And when you have a journey in front of you that may seem overwhelming, it's all the difference. That is our goal, is to move people from that diet mindset to a healthy living mindset. And when you are feeling overwhelmed, like, am I ever going to get to where I need to be with my health goals? It is so incredibly important to understand we all have the choice. Richard touched on it. Stop, challenge, choose. Just because you have something that may not be on the 5 and 1 does not mean that you have destroyed your health journey. The definition of optimal health is to have more healthy days than non-healthy days. And we want to make that number bigger and bigger for the more healthy days. And so I love what you shared, and just the mindset of focusing on the things that you can do and do have control over. And it keeps that intrinsic motivation going. So thank you so much, Charlene, for sharing with that and just giving some insight to some things and your thought processes. And I just am very grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Honey Beth.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, everybody, we are going to close up tonight. That's it. We just had 3 presenters. I hope that you found this valuable and useful to you and encouraging. No matter where you are with your health journey, whether you have 10 pounds to lose or over 100 pounds to lose, the principles are still the same. We really want to help you focus on long-term sustainability. And sometimes if you feel like you're overwhelmed and you're never going to get there are other people who have walked that path, and we just want to spread some encouragement to let you know that it can be done. So thanks, everybody. And Nikki and Richard and Charlene, I'm so grateful for you guys sharing, and hopefully we'll do this again and hear from some other folks who have walked the path as well. So thanks, everybody, and good night.
Bye.